Blessed day, everyone, and welcome once again to the Ron Bayron podcast, where we talk about all things business, entrepreneurship, and leadership. With me today, co-hosting with me today is Miss A. Hello, Miss A. Thank you so much
Hey,
for joining
Michael.
us. Yeah.
Thank you for having me here. Excited to be your co-host. Been following Ron by Ron's podcast, and now I'm part of it.
Mm, yeah, and we're very much excited to have you here. But before we begin this podcast, would you like to do a quick introduction about yourself?
Yes, I'm Miss A. I'm more known to be Miss A, and what I do is help develop people and business. So I'm the VP of People and Business Development at the ABBA Initiative, and I'm very interested with all things business because people, uh, you know, for a business you need people, and of course we
Mm,
need to know what's the trend in the business nowadays, and how can we bring our people to that. So glad to be here. So
mm,
what do we have in store?
definitely. Well, today and for this podcast, we have someone very exciting joining us today. So we have our guest today, our resource speaker. Her name is Ma'am Juvy Claro-Lasta. So welcome, Miss Juvy, to the Ron by Ron podcast. We're very much excited
Welcome,
for you to be
welcome.
here.
Thank you so much, Mike and Miss A, for having me here. It's really a privilege. I'm Juvy Claro-Lasta. I'm the president of YAHSHUA Outsourcing Worldwide Incorporated, an accounting and internal auditing professional of 10 years. And by God's grace, I'm well versed in developing and implementing system workflow, process improvements, and performance analysis of a wide range of business operation. Well, as to my passion, my ultimate passion is really to be a blessing to all businesses and individuals. And that's the heart of Yeshua. I'm glad to be here.
Wow, what an
Wow.
introduction. We're so glad for you to be joining us today, Ma'am Juvy.
And I think
And
she's pretty much covered with what we'll be discussing. So excited.
yeah, for sure. And of course, today we have, of course, Pastor Ron Byron. So welcome back, Pastor Ron, to your podcast, the Ron Byron
Hello,
podcast.
Pastor Ron.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see you again. And I hope we can bring you something very valuable information that hopefully will help you in running your business. As Ma'am Juvie said a while ago, it's very important that we are able to help you, no? How to run your business effectively and, of course, succeed in everything that you do in your business. And because our desire also is that you will bless your employees. Our concern is that your employees will be so blessed with a growing business as you will be blessed also as a businessman with your family. And if you're a manager of the company, then the more, no? Hopefully we can add value to how you will manage your company or your department so that you can enjoy running your department or your company. Okay, so thank you again, Michael, Miss A, and of course, Juvy, thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pastor Ron. And so, without further ado, let's dive right into the topic at hand for today's podcast. Pastor Ron, what do you have for us today?
Yeah. Let's talk about internal controls because internal controls is it's like in a body, in analogy of a body, it's like your bones, your immune system, everything that keeps you running, no, and everything that keeps you in check is your internal controls. No? In other words, it keeps the balance, no, of everything in your business, so that as you move forward, as you pursue new challenges or new, no new fields or even new opportunities, no, to grow your business or strengthen your business, you really need internal controls, no, so that you can grow strong and able to continue with what you've started. Also, that's what we'll talk about. No? So we'll talk about the importance, the benefits of implementing the right, effective internal controls of your company. So probably let's start with this question on why is internal control important and what are the benefits of implementing internal controls in your business. Well, let me tell you, ahead that internal controls are very important, in a business, in any business, whether it's for profit or for non-profit. And because they help ensure the integrity of one, your financial reports and accounting information. It promotes efficiency and, of course, effectiveness in your operation, and it safeguards assets. Okay, so it's very important. I cannot overemphasize the importance of internal control. And so, benefits. What are the benefits of putting on or implementing internal controls in your business? Well, let's ask Ma'am Juvy, Juvy Claro-Lasta. Based on her experience, she's been in the industry of outsourcing for more than 10 years, and I believe through the years she has encountered a lot of challenges and somehow issues in the business where internal control was very weak. That's why problems happen. So, Juv, what can you say about that? What are the benefits of implementing internal controls?
Well, I totally agree with you, Pastor Ron, that there are a lot of benefits of internal controls. That is actually a very question an entrepreneur should ask, that internal controls play an essential role in every company's success. Yet, many business owners don't have a clear understanding of what they are and why they are important. We at YAHSHUA, we are committed to our client success, and because of that, we are also committed to providing clarity and understanding in the gray area of internal controls. So as I've mentioned, there are a lot of important reasons why internal control is important to protect your business, your clients, and asset. But we will just highlight top 3. So number 1 is it establishes the processes. Internal controls outline employee protocol and procedures so employee aren't left guessing how to perform their job duties or which procedures to follow. Changes to internal control are reported to employees, so they are promptly informed of changes to improve efficiency and reduce error. So, like for example, company ABC publishes an annual update of its employee handbook and documents who receive and reviews the handbook. So because of a strong internal control, the company schedules departmental meetings to answer questions about changes and review new procedure. So again, what's our number one the benefit of strong internal control? It establishes the processes. Our second point is it improves process performance. As processes are implemented, the continuous monitoring of their effectiveness helps management make decisions about whether the process is working or if it needs additional attention. When processes are improved, so is the accuracy of the financial reporting, which management may rely on to make informed business decision or judgment. So like for example, in the year 2022, company ABC's revenue was down by 30% because of a reduction of in-store traffic. But because of a strong internal control in place, management decides to focus on the company's website to increase web traffic and boost online sales. So our number 2 point, it improves process performance. So our last highlight or last benefits of a strong internal control, it improves operational efficiency. Internal controls can improve the efficiency of operation by removing unnecessary or duplicate steps in procedures or process. This might include automation of manual controls or combining cost-effectively improved operational efficiency that allows management to receive timely information to verify current operations meeting the company's objective. So like for example, company ABC has maintained several email addresses monitored by different employees to communicate with customers, with vendors, and even address social media requests. But because internal control are being in place, after reporting a reduction in email subscription, the company decides to combine customer emails and social media to the same inbox with one employee handling both. So again, the third point is it improves operational efficiency. Just a quick recap. What are the 3 importance or the benefit of a strong internal control. First, it establishes the processes. Number two, it improves process performance. And lastly, it improves operational efficiency.
Yun. So you will find these are very much beneficial to a company when processes and even performances are being monitored and reviewed, no, in a way to make it more effective and more efficient. So it's just one of those very important benefits of internal controls being implemented in a company. And so that's why at this juncture, we don't have enough time to discuss more. But for now, suffice it to say that, internal controls with these benefits is critical to your operation. You cannot run a company without it. And so as a business owner, as a manager of a company, or a head of a department, I encourage you guys, learn to implement and be more conscious of the internal controls in your company, so that a lot of growth, a lot of improvements in how you do things are coming from the inputs and the discoveries that you will find because you've implemented internal controls. Okay, so thank you so much. I think for now that will be our discussion. We will have more discussions on this, about internal controls. There are more benefits that we can talk about, but for now, that's what we can mention for the time being. No? Unless Miss A and Michael has some questions or clarifications.
Yeah, I was about to ask if we still have time for questions. I'm interested, and I understand, Pastor Ron and Ma'am Juvy, that it's a continuous improvement, right? Yeah. Now, talking about people, quite interested in that. Do we meet resistance when there's a process improvement, or when internal controls, there are changes? Do we meet with resistance? Have you experienced that? And what do we do with resistance in terms of our people?
Well, that's a very good
Ron?
question, Miss A. Yeah. Of course, any change in the company, especially when put in discipline in the organization. Internal control is a discipline. It has to be a discipline. Otherwise, what's the point of putting in the control? So if it doesn't put in the discipline, so of course, definitely there will be resistance. There will be murmuring and grumbling, and people complaining, because people will, what they're used to will have to change, to put in.
They'll adjust.
Yes, exactly. To put in the necessary internal control. So definitely there will be objections and complaints and resistance. But the thing is, it's very important also that we are able to explain well, the benefits of these internal controls to our employees, because these people who may complain or resist, they're not resisting just because they are very negative, they have a very negative attitude. They're resisting because they don't understand why this is being done, why change is being implemented, why discipline is being put in place. So, however, everybody wants order. Everybody wants to have a more efficient way of doing things. Everybody wants to, one of the, as mentioned by Juvy, the performance review, it will enhance when you put in the necessary internal control. So everybody wants to be, reviewed in a well manner where there will be enough inputs to help them improve. So if you are able to explain properly, help people understand, clarify questions, those resistance which are normal and they're expected, they will be clarified, and people will be able to accept the changes, the necessary changes that internal controls will require. So it's normal and it can be managed.
Thank you, Pastor Ron. I believe Steve Jobs said that if given the opportunity, our people will want to improve.
Yes.
Michael?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Ron.
I love this discussion right now. As a person who isn't so much into business, it's like a crash course into business and leadership. So thank you so much for the insights. I'm Juvy and Pastor Ron. I've learned a lot for this discussion, but I think if I was a new person and starting my own business, I think my main question for this podcast would probably be, well, if internal control is so important, what's the first step that I could take in order to begin establishing internal controls for my company? What advice could you give to new entrepreneurs?
All right, so let me answer that question, Mike. No, that's a wonderful question. So I believe the first thing that we have to do as entrepreneur no is really to educate our employees, as mentioned by Pastor Ron. So we need to train them in exactly which processes to use and include scenarios where they need to apply them. So at the same time, we should also clarify individual responsibilities, emphasize the reasoning for internal controls, and of course, explain the consequence if not following them. Just simply encourage our employees to come up with any questions to avoid further misunderstandings. So I believe we answer your question, Mike.
Mm,
Yeah, and also to add to what Juvy said, no, um, it's very important that internal controls are taken as a dynamic way of
right.
addressing possible or potential issues or even current issues and concerns. So when I say dynamic, meaning it has to be adaptive to the situation of the
Mm,
organization.
yeah.
Juvy mentioned this a while ago that there is no hard and fast rule for internal controls. There's a general guideline, no, for like for example, proper documentation is a general
Mhm.
guideline for effective internal control. But
But
to
it's not one size
specific,
fits all.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, no,
Right.
to bring it to a level of a specific organization, you need to have adaptability, no, and flexibility to that. Like for example, okay, everything needs to be documented. But for example, I'm a driver, no, and let's say I'm also tasked to buy, no, go to a particular place and buy certain things where
Purchase. Yeah.
purchase, for example, and you know the general rule is document it with an invoice. But I'm buying from a sidewalk vendor who has no invoice.
With no
What will happen?
invoice.
No?
Mm,
So you need to agree, no, on specific unique requirements, but without neglecting the general requirement or general guideline, which is proper documentation. So
mm,
that's an
right.
example of flexibility and taking internal control as a dynamic approach to efficiency, effectiveness, and of course improving processes.
Right. So there's
Mhm.
no like one answer to this. You just have to start asking around your employees and your team and improve as you go along. It's really a continuous improvement as you
Yeah.
grow your company. That's very interesting. And I agree with, also want to put an emphasis on what Juvie said about educating your people, helping
Yeah.
them to be aware of the importance of actually, the reason why you need to have a established process and proper documentation and stuff like that. That's really interesting, and I'll take that in mind as well, and I hope our listeners are able to take that in mind as well. Thank you so much, Pastor On and Ma'am Juvie, for your insights for today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I hope to our listeners right now, I hope that this discussion has given you insights on how you can better lead your people and run your business for success. And I guess just to quickly recap on the things that we've learned today, and these are just based on my own notes. So, firstly, internal controls are unique to every company. I like what Juvie said, like it's a fingerprint, because every business is unique, and so the internal controls for every business is also going to be unique. Establishing internal controls will help employees do their job. It's going to help improve process performance, improve operational efficiency, and also help to monitor and be able to see how to improve and progress in the operations for the company. So I think that's a wonderful way to get started on running your business, and also something to keep in mind as a business owner. So yeah, Miss A, would you like to close this off?
Yeah, I really appreciate what we're having here, and especially you can bring this to our people. What I appreciate is that educate them, helping them with the why. And Simon Sinek says, "You start with the why." No, our teams could be overwhelmed with the direction and the improvement, and yet, if you as a leader have the heart to improve not just the well-being of the business, but for your people, because isn't that what business is for? To bless our people, to help them understand the why is very important. And I really appreciate Ma'am Juvie for helping us, break it down, helping us understand even at our level, and Pastor Ron for reinforcing that. So yeah, thank you for your time. Miss Juvy Claro-Lasta, and we hope to see you again on another podcast with Pastor Ron. Thank you so much, Pastor Ron, for your insights, and Michael, thank you for having me. Have an awesome day, everybody. God bless you.
God bless everyone. Thank you so
God
much
bless
again.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.